Hello there.
Welcome back, my friend.
Hello, what have we here?
Jedi, we've been expecting you.
Knew I could count on you.
Hello.
Welcome to the rebellion.
What fun!
Hey everyone, Hybrid here, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Star Wars The Black Series, Embo, as he appears in Star Wars The Mandalorian and Grogu. This guy was very highly anticipated by many. I'm going to be honest, I've said it before, I am a Clone Wars kid, right? But, like, Embo was not a character that I really stuck with from that show. He was just that cool bounty hunter that showed up, like, twice. You know, I think Clone Wars introduced a lot more way cooler characters than Embo. But I know some people were super duper incredibly excited for this guy to appear in the movie, and I think they used him well. I don't think that they went over the top in, like, glazing Embo or anything. He just showed up, you know, did his mission, left, like, he was fine. But he was arguably probably one of the main big bads, I would argue, besides like the Hutts, you know. So this guy is going to be a fun one to like pose fighting Mando on the shelf, for instance. But just a very, very, you know, important character to the movie. And, you know, looking at him, gosh, he's got a lot of good accessories, but I think everyone's going to be asking,
Where's the dog?
yeah, probably should have included the dog, even if it would have made him a deluxe, but all the same, I digress. Still a very interesting looking figure, and I think there's probably ways for the dog to come in the future, hopefully not with a whole nother Embo, so you have to have two Embos, you know, you buy this one and then they do a deluxe Embo later with the dog. I'm kind of picturing the dog coming packed with some Inzellans as a solo release, who knows, but that's kind of where I'm at. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive into the review, take a quick look at the packaging before seeing what's going on, but gosh, initial impressions, he is looking rather good, in the box at least. Let's go. As uncommon as it is to get first edition white boxes, I figure I'll give you a look at both versions, since as of the time of recording, I do own both. So, your white first edition box is very similar to the black mainline box. It's the same shape, minus the little circle thing where it says first edition in a few different languages, and it's white. Otherwise, all your coloring is very similar. So, you get a Black Series logo above a big window showing Embo and his accessories off nicely, his name and a number 10 from the Mando and Grogu movie. All this is in purple as far as the detailing goes. Warning 4+ Hasbro. This side of the box features a really cool artwork of Embo holding his bow, his name at the bottom. This side features your wraparound window, your wraparound stripe, and your Black Series logo. Around back, again, all white details in this one. You have your Black Series logo, the zoom into that side are a bio about the movie more than the character, number 10 in the line, bunch of legal stuff, Disney, Hasbro, barcode, more legal stuff down below, and a hanger tab up top, so very standard action figure packaging. Let's go ahead and open this one up, not that one. Let's go. So here's Embo out of the box. Let's go ahead and take a look at his accessories. We will start with the bowcaster. This looks really, really cool. It is finally in a black plastic. It's like the first gun we've gotten in a minute that's not that dark gray. It's actually black, and then it's got a little bit of that kind of like grayish brown for the grip. The blaster has some fold-up abilities. Not entirely the biggest fan of those, but, you know, the bowcaster can unfold into a bow like so. There's not really an obvious stop point, you know, I don't know, but in opening it the first time, I did just straight up pop one of these off because it's just little plastic nubs, you know, for the hinge. It's not like an actual pin. I don't know, there's a part of me that's just like, gosh, just mold it like this and just leave it be, but I guess it's cool to have the functionality too. Although that said, the functionality, I don't know if it matters so much because, like, you know, he would, like, fold it up to stow it away, but there's no weapon storage on him. It's not like there's a sling to put it on his back or anything. So, I don't know. I mean, it's cool that it's there. I guess I'm, like, over-complaining, but, like, it's just kind of, I'd have done it differently, but I'm not mad about it either. It looks very nice. And then he comes with these weapons, which I think are just the bowcaster. I think the bowcaster transforms and pulls apart because it looks like the bowcaster, but they're kind of like these like ice pick looking weapons that, you know, he uses to melee against Mando at one point. And it's just like, yeah, they're cool. So you get some hand-to-hand weapons here, so that's neat. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just like, you know, you hold them like that. It looks like the bowcaster. I guess I don't know where these come from, but they look like the bowcasters, you know, the bow on the front. Anyway, enough about the weapons. Let's go ahead and take a look at the man himself. Embo looks great. One thing I want to point out really early on is his eyes, looking in there under the hat. They have given him these little green dots for his pupils. His eyes have like a yellow glow in the movie and in the Clone Wars, so I kind of wish they'd gone straight yellow, but they do stand out, that like they, because like his eyes are kind of like glowing, so, you do get that like shock pinpoint in there that even though it's the wrong color, they still function as very obvious pupils. Just wish they were yellow. The hat looks excellent, has a nice little bit of subtle weathering to it, some sculpted scratches, I believe it's all printed deco, but like it's very nicely done deco. The hat comes off because he does obviously take it sometimes and throw it like a Captain America shield, and it's very, very tough material. Now, there is Embo's head like molded into it with these two nubbins on each side. The little like cutout section on the front with those 3 notches goes to the front always. Embo's head kind of has some divots on the side there, and it takes a little bit of finesse to get it in perfect, but once you get it perfectly centered, it does fit like incredibly securely. That's not going anywhere. It will not survive a shelf dive. It will pop off on that, but it's solid enough to pose. From there, this guy looks great. His movie outfit is very Clone Wars, inspired. I don't think they really changed much of anything with him. Maybe darkened some colors, but he still has his signature like shoulder pads. He's got this little cog button on the front. He's got a bandolier strap with some cylinders on it. A little buckle there on the front there. He's got some cylinders on his belt, and then some different strapping going on. He's got this neat little patterned, section of his like comma skirt thing. The rest of it is all rubber. It's very flexible. I do wish that it had another slit somewhere, maybe even like down the center of the back, just to like really get to pose them a little bit, because it does hinder the legs a little bit. Not a full blown traffic cone. And you can roll it up kind of like inside out. Kind of almost makes it look like the wind's blowing it. Prefer that to like a wired soft goods one. That would be horrible. Like his little armband there. And his gauntlet here with some controls. His wrist comm and stuff. Wearing those fingerless gloves. He's cool if he's wearing fingerless gloves, right? The boots are very interesting. Kind of have like wraps to them going down. And then there's like little ties hanging off the sides. Very interesting looking boots. But yeah, this guy's just really, really cool looking. Has a lot of good paint work going on, and almost makes me wish I liked the character more, right? Like, I don't hate Embo, don't get me wrong. I mean, the Embo slander is hardcore in this video, right? But I don't know, Embo's just one of those characters I'm always just like, he's just one of like many bounty hunters we see in the Clone Wars. So, but I'm always happy to get a Clone Wars reference this day and age. So it's a good time for it with Dave Filoni taking charge. So we definitely get our Clone Wars love. Us Clone Wars kids have grown up and we're still fans, and we want to hear about it. So, gosh, this guy looks great though. It's a great interpretation. It looks good enough and close enough to Clone Wars, and like obviously Embo hasn't like aged drastically to the point of like growing a beard or something, to where, gosh, I could see some people doubling up on this and putting one of these on the Clone Wars shelf as well. It also wouldn't shock me if Hasbro took this exact same figure and maybe changed some of the coloring to be a little bit more Clone Wars accurate and just reran it in Clone Wars, the yellow packaging. Would not surprise me. But yeah, all the same, very, very good looking figure. I do like him a lot. I guess to run through some articulation, why not? He has this kind of like floating collar thing around his head, like around his neck. But anyway, I'm sure he has that double ball joint neck in there. Allows him to look that far back, which is pretty good. And of course, that far forward. And that's almost how you'd pose him anyway. You kind of almost want him to just be, nope, not bending the hat, but you almost just want to just have him peeking out from under that brim, right? Or doing his signature little cock in the hat with the, with the hand. But you get a bunch of side to side for some attitude in there. And of course, your rotation. His arms can come up to a T-pose, even a little bit higher. The shoulder pads start to get in the way there. There's a nice, deep butterfly joint in there. The arms could rotate 360 if they weren't hindered by this big shoulder pad, so that stops them from going too far. But it is a rubbery thing, so like it gets out of the way a bit. You can go up higher. Single jointed elbows go about maybe just past 90, swivel at the elbow, 360 on the wrists, and of course up and down and in and out, because these are ball joint. You can do anything you want with those wrists. He has that kind of waist ball joint going on, which allows you to get some twist, some pivot, and some crunch. Not far forward, not far back. Not a huge amount in either direction, but enough. The legs, gosh, with that rubber skirt, like I said, can only go about that far apart, which sucks. And then about that far forward, a little bit back. You can get them in some good poses. There's no upper thigh swivel. Not that you would ever get to it up in there, but there is a little bit of a rotation on the ball joint. The knees go to about 90. Swivel at the knee kind of deletes the need for a thigh swivel anyway. And then the feet point straight down, a little bit forward, and there's a forward-facing pin for rocker, letting you get him into some decently wide stances with both feet flat on the ground. So yeah, he's rather posable, limited in certain ways, but kind of ways that any action figure would be. Any action figure in a rubber skirt, just going to have some issues. But let's go ahead and get some other figures out and just do some size comparisons. Here's my Mando and Grogu collection so far, and I gotta say, Embo definitely is a standout. He's a tall, lanky dude. He's a little bit over 6 inches, not including the hat. Including the hat pushes him right over that brink. He's about as tall as the mercenary guard droid, which, as I mentioned, he's supposed to be a tall guy. But yeah, this is just a great looking set of figures. Very, very interesting designs. Now, of course, you got a lot of stormtroopers here, so unique designs like Embo will, of course, really, really pop on the shelf. And I do think that is appropriate given his importance in the story and what he does in it. And then just by relevance of being, the main villain of it. And gosh, as I was saying, I've got him pretty far back from the phone now to get this wide shot, and you can still see those pupils just staring right into you. I just wish they were yellow. They're lime. I don't know, bothering me a little bit. But otherwise, I like how these group look together. So end of the day, what do I think of the new Embo figure? Yeah, he's pretty cool. He definitely scratches that itch for the character that I've had since seeing the movie. I definitely knew I needed him for the shelf. Despite not being the biggest Embo fan, I'm still happy to have him. They did a really good job with him. He's got some great paint. He's got some great weathering, especially on that shoulder pad area. The bowcaster, I feel, could have been done a little bit better, but it's all right. I think he came out really nice. Again, I think we should have gotten Kaibu the dog included, but I think that's probably just coming in a separate release anyway. It's better than making it deluxe. The genuine weirdest thing about Black Series collectors is, gosh, if you put anything in that deluxe packaging, everyone's like, no, clearance chicken. I'm not buying it. It's more than $27. Can't afford it, right? So if you put Embo and his dog in a package for $35, y'all are going to let it go to clearance. But if they put Embo in a $27 package on its own and then his dog in a $27 package on its own, y'all will just buy the two separate releases and spend more money anyway. But I don't know, the logic of a Black Series collector, if you will. I love my collecting community, but there's not a lot of logic to it sometimes. So, anyway, I think this is a great figure. I'm excited to pair him with the dog whenever he comes out, and I think he's a fine addition to the Mando and Grogu shelf. I think you could put him on your Clone Wars shelf. Also, wouldn't shock me if Hasbro's recoloring him to make him look Clone Wars perfect for that Clone Wars shelf anyway, so maybe hold off a minute and, not forever. If they don't announce it within the next year, just buy a duplicate to put over on that shelf if you care so much about the character. Otherwise, we're probably getting a Clone Wars one, I would think. It's easy repaint. But yeah, this guy just looks awesome. Anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you for hanging out, listening to me ramble about some Star Wars toys. I'm going to go work on something else now, so, may the Force be with you all. And until next time, I hope you all go on and have a great day. Bye.